Test.
Okay. Hi, Sophians. This is the presidential elections rally for academic year 2021 and 2022. I'm Shakina, and this is Dimitrios. We are your moderators for today. The sequence of events are as follows. Firstly, we will have the speech by Celine's proposal, followed by Celine's speech. We will then end off with a Q&A segment. So now, let me introduce our candidate for this year. We have Celine Yao from the Faculty of Engineering, majoring in Electrical Engineering. Celine is currently in year 3, and her commitments in Eusoff since her first year till now includes badminton, floorball, football, EW football, DP, band, softball, table tennis, squash, and basketball. We will now invite Elise, her proposer, to give her speech.
Thank you, Shab. Where am I supposed to stand? Okay. So historically, the sporting scene was not the first area that Yusoff excelled in. Yusoff first clinched the ISG champion in 1998, taking 10 years from the time it shifted to the current campus. Yusoff also excelled incredibly in the cultural scene. We were the first hall to hold a dance production in 1990, a tradition that we have continued till date. Fast forward to today, we have Celine, a massive contributor to both scenes, and a champion for excellence, running for the position of president, determined to bring Yusoff to glory again. Okay, hi everyone, I'm Elise, and I'm Celine's proposer. I've known Celine since she came into Yusoff, and I know that she has what it takes to lead Yusoff as the president. So firstly, I believe everyone will agree that Celine is a very determined and driven person. Whenever she sets a goal to commit to a task, she will do her best to accomplish it. She is always ready to give the extra push and go the extra mile to achieve her objectives. Many would know that Celine joined various new sports in Yusoff, but one thing most of us are unaware of is that she spends her free time outside of training to research and understand the sports better, picking up new skills and then trying them out during training. And most of you who are in the same sports as her would know that she has a relatively weak ankle because she sprains them at least once every year. And just like 1 month ago, she sprained her ankle pretty badly before her Sonic match. And she had to almost had to sit out for the match. But that never stopped her from reaching her goals. She diligently did strengthening exercises every day and night, and she was back on court after less than a week. So training and representing NUS in the Sonic Games. Her determination and commitment to excellence is definitely unquestionable, and excellence is a trait that we would all like to see in our Yusoff president. While Celine may not be the most outspoken leader, she lets her dedication and commitment do the talking. As we all know, action speaks louder than words. Celine lets her actions speak loudly of her character. She sets high expectations for herself and models the way for her members. Moreover, she has the courage and willingness to throw herself out of her comfort zone. Her commitments in hall, as well as in engine and out of campus, where she joined various committees, embodies that exact value. Her confidence and tenacity enables her to be able to be daring enough to put herself in difficult situations and push ahead regardless of any setbacks. She doesn't let others' negative criticisms or influence put her down. Even under pressure, she is clear in the direction that she and her team wants. In addition, she constantly reflects on her actions and recognizes her weaknesses. She sees the importance of personal growth and development, frequently seeking for areas to improve. Even during her time as captain, she is always willing to seek advice from both seniors and juniors to develop herself further. I believe this is a remarkable trait as it does not only display her hunger for improvement, but also exhibits her humility. Lastly, I would like to say, don't be fooled by her RBF, because while she can look very intimidating while she doesn't smile, she's actually a people's person once you get to know her. She is someone who genuinely cares about her peers, and her presence gives people comfort and assurance, making her extremely approachable. Throughout my time in Eusoff, she has been ever reliable and dependent, always ready to lend a helping hand or listening ear to her friends, teammates, and the people around her. Her ability to connect with others is an essential trait, and I can safely say that our welfare will be taken care of under her leadership. As we all know, Celine is extremely active in both the sports and cultural scene, joining 10 sports together with band, Eusoff Work, and ECF. She understands and genuinely cares for both our sports and cultural scene, which deem her as an excellent candidate who we can trust to bring everyone in Eusoff together to strive for excellence and harmony. Finally, I would like to conclude with a quote. Excellence is not a skill, it's an attitude. And I believe that Celine has the heart to learn, the passion to serve, and the determination to execute. Thank you.
Thank you, Elise. Now we will have Celine to give her speech.
Okay. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for being present here today. I am Celine, a year 3 majoring in electrical engineering, and I am running for the position of president of the 35th JCRC. So many of you may be wondering why I'm running in this election when I'm about to become a year 4, which is when most people like to take it chill. So the past 3 years in Eusoff have been nothing but fulfilling for me. To me, Eusoff is a safe place for myself and many others to freely express themselves, to endeavor into the things unknown and into things that they have little or no experience in. This is made possible because of the people of Eusoff, because these people show their support to their fellow Eusoffians every step of the way and are willing to impart the knowledge they have gained to others. I want to be that person, the one supporting Eusoffians in reaching for their goals, the one supporting Eusoffians in times of trouble, and the one supporting Eusoffians when no one else seems to. With that being said, my vision for Eusoff in the coming AY is Eusoff reimagined. With the new normal possibly nearing, and as restrictions ease further, as you may have heard from the wonderful news this morning when PM Lee announced the ease in measures, we are once more able to hold activities and Eusoff traditions the way it has been held in the past, but also not forgetting what we have built up in the past few years living in COVID. I want to see Eusoffians gathering around the Golden Gate as we see an actual fire come ablaze as we celebrate the beginning of IHG. I want to see Eusoffians lapping around the track with our flag held high as we celebrate being IHG champions. I want to see Eusoffians coming together and supporting their friends at performances put together after countless practices and piecings. One of the main reasons I am running for president and feel that I am most suited for the role is because I am one of the few people left that have experienced hall in both pre-COVID and COVID times. Many of you may know, especially those who have been with me since year 1, that I have always been very involved in hall activities, taking up numerous CCAs, be it sports, culture, or committee. You name it, I've done it, kinda. But because of this, I've gotten to know a lot of people, and I've also gotten to know how things work in hall for the most part. I believe that I am someone that is able to relate closely with most of the residents here in Eusoff, as well as their concerns. One of the things that I want to implement, if elected, is an open feedback channel for residents to voice out on aspects of hall life that needs to be improved on, for greater communication with the JCRC. I want residents to know that they too are able to have an impact on Hall and their opinions valued. Community is also something that I would like to place emphasis on. No resident should be left out. The goal is to achieve diversity with inclusion. Diversity is being invited to the party. Inclusion is being asked to dance. Diversity with inclusion creates an environment where Eusofians can actively participate and have a greater sense of belonging to Hall. It is all of the Eusofians dancing in this grand party with me heading the party planning committee. I would love to see Eusofians once again gathered in a dining hall, dressed up in costumes and enjoying the food and activities. Having hall-wide events that foster bonding among Eusofians is something that I will push for and support. Definitely, there may be challenges along the way, and circumstances are always changing, but I am confident that I, together with the future elected JCRC, will be able to adequately adapt and overcome them with the best interests of Eusofians in mind. The time has come where the old and new are brought together. I believe my knowledge and experience will be a great asset in the coming AY as we slowly move away from COVID and into the new normal. I hope that you will give me the opportunity to give every resident the full Eusofian experience by merging the past with the new, for you to be able to have a more vibrant and fulfilling stay here in Eusoff. So let's embark on this new journey together and create a Eusoff reimagined. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Celine, for the inspiring speech. We will now have a 15 minutes break, after which we will have the Q&A segment. You can access the link on Channel EH, or alternatively, you can key in the code 36537956 into Mentimeter. So do remember to state your name, year, and block along with your questions. We will come back at 9 o'clock. Thank you.
Test. Hello guys, welcome back to the presidential rally. So now we'll be starting the Q&A segment. So I will firstly open the floor to the current 34th JCRC members in the FH, and afterwards, I will read the questions posted on the Mentimeter. Once again, please be reminded to include your name, year, and block while posting the questions. Thank you. I will now pass the mic to the JCRC members.
Hi, I'm Sean, and I have a question. Having not been in any services before, how do you envision services as part of your Eusoff Reimagined, and what plans do you have?
Testing. Okay, thank you for the question. I have not been part of service in Eusoff before, but last year I was the Vice Director of Engine Club Community Engagement, which is the community service part for Engine Club. So in that sense, I have experience in services lah. So how I see it as part of the Eusoff Reimagine next year is because in the coming year there won't be so much restrictions anymore. So when it comes to, like, let's say expats, right, they are more able to carry out physical fundraising activities or physical volunteering activities. Same goes for elderly services and the other social service CCAs. So like in the coming year, that I feel like since we have not been able to really contribute back to the community, and these CCAs have not really been able to do as much as they want to in the past few years, I really will want to try to support these CCAs in the coming AY to really be able to go forth and really just take that spirit of volunteerism and yes, contribute back to the community. Yes, thank you.
Hello. Hi, I'm Regina. So my question to you is, given your current vision for your 35th JCRC to be redefining your Eusoff experience, and you mentioned that you wanted to merge new and you mentioned that there will be ease of, whatever restrictions that we have due to the current COVID situation, right? But as we all know, and what we have learned from the past years, that COVID is a very volatile situation, and we can't assure 100% succession from here on forth. So then, what other tangible aspects will you be bringing into your JCRC and for your residences to also ensure that they have fully experienced your redefining Eusoff life? Yeah.
Okay, thank you for that question. Also, I mean, yes, I'm very well aware that things are always changing. As I mentioned in my speech earlier, like there will definitely be challenges and things are always changing, and the COVID situation is something that cannot be predicted. So as we have been living in COVID for the past few years, I believe that everyone is well versed in the kind of restrictions and the kind of things that we can or cannot do in the given restrictions that are given. We have experienced lockdown, which is really the most extreme one, and we have experienced very ease of measures, and which is currently going to happen as well. So I feel like we are relatively well equipped to be able to handle anything that may change. As for the Eusoff Reimagine next year, where we are really bringing everything back together, what's the tangible thing that we as JCRC can do, and as well as the students, is to really not let our guard down, and feel like events, big scale events, are an entitlement, and it's not something that we can take for granted, because it's something that everybody wants to happen, everybody looks forward to, but when things go sour, it's something that will just be taken away with just one small thing that happens lah. So yeah, thank you. I hope that answers your question. If it doesn't, you can elaborate more.
How are you going to promote the sentiment that will ensure that we do not let, or the residents do not let their guards down?
Okay, so as I think as everybody knows, even when restrictions in the rest of Singapore has eased, right? A lot of times, most of the times, those restrictions in halls still are put in place. An example is even the number of people that you can have in your room. So a lot of these measures are put in place for protection, and even when we are even more in a time where the measures are relatively lifted, I feel that there is a need to still implement safety precautions. Even if it's not implemented, it still has to be in one of our the things that we as JCRC have to be prepared for. So we have to prepare a contingency plan before anything else happens. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Yi-Chen, Year 3, C Block. So my question to you is, given that there's a lot of public sentiments regarding this year's slow claim reimbursements, what do you think can be done? What do you think can be done differently for the hall office or whatever?
Sorry, I didn't catch the first one.
So there's a lot of public sentiments that there's been slow reimbursements from the hall office. Yeah, so what do you think can be done differently this year?
Okay, thank you for the question. So just to clarify, the question is regarding the room subsidies that residents were upset. Oh, is it? What do you? It's not very clear. Sorry. Claim reimbursement.
Yeah. Hello. Yeah.
Sorry, can I just ask in regards to what?
Like in general, cause general this year there's a lot of the claim reimbursements for all the CCAs, comms and whatever. Is very very slow, and takes like months for the claims to come back. So, do you think there's anything that can be done differently next? Anything that can be done differently next year? Do you want me to repeat? Okay. I'm talking normally. Okay, so this year claim reimbursement very slow. So is there anything you can do about it next year? And by slow I mean a few months, like 3 months slow.
So yeah.
It used to be like 2 weeks, 3 weeks, then the money come back already.
And
But this year is very, very
these
slow.
claims are from
Like
who?
all the spendings from all the CCAs, like in regards to the budget one.
So to clarify, the CCAs are the one giving it slowly, or is the process that is slow?
The
processing.
As in the process is very slow. Yeah. Correct. So that's my question.
Okay, thank you for the question. As for claim processing, I believe, not entirely sure, but I believe that the finance director is in charge of it, right?
Okay, hello, I'm Brian, Year 3 Sports D. So my question is, given that next year Eusoff will be convening for ISG, do you have any plans to support the sporting scene as a whole next year?
Okay, thank you for the question. Okay, so as everybody knows, I've pretty much been in almost every single sport, and I've stayed in a couple of sports as well, like throughout the entire year. And I have also experienced IHG pre-COVID and COVID. And especially since Eusoff is the convening hall next year, all the more we have to be really on our toes and really, show the rest of the halls, I guess. Show the rest of the halls like what Eusoff really is, and it's not something that we can take lightly on. And I as a sports person myself also, I will readily and be fully supportive of the convening, whoever is heading it next year. And it is really a year for Eusoff to really come back and gain back the champions, even after all these COVID stuff. And I really hope, dearly hope, that we can finally have a proper, complete IHG. Yeah. Thank you.
Okay, thanks.
Hi, Lei Chun, Year 3 PhD here. So do you have any specific plan on how you intend to bridge the Eusoff community together? Or will you just be looking to bring back past events and hope that will be enough to bring the community together?
Okay, so thank you for the question. One of the things that I emphasized on in my speech earlier also about community, and I think community is a very important part of Eusoff. It is what defines Eusoff, and it's what makes Eusoff, and it's also what defines Eusoff's culture. So, even in last year, in year 2, I'm sure a lot of people know that because of COVID, that was when COVID was its worst lah, and everything was restricted, and everybody didn't really know everybody. People didn't really mix around either. And this year, things got a lot better. We were able to, meet people from other blocks or even other faculties. And these are some things that are very important. And all these hall-wide events that has been happening has really, I feel like, created a greater sense of belonging for Eusophians, because, there are finally activities that all the people of Eusoff can finally come together and do the same exact thing. Instead of just hanging out with the people in their block, they are really able to mix around with people elsewhere lah. I will very much will be working with the next JCRC as well as all the committee heads to really create events and ensure that that every single resident will feel like they belong in Eusoff. And it's not just past events. Past events, yes, because there are a lot of past events that are hall-wide events, and these are very important in bringing everybody together as well. But even the events that has been created in the last 2 years, even online, I feel like these online activities can also still continue if it serves its purpose. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, thanks.
Hello. Anyway, Luke wanted me to say that he's the convening head next year. Yeah, okay. So next year, since Eusoff is convening, right, and in the case that there is not enough budget, will you prioritize sports or culture?
Okay, sorry, thank you for the question. Because I am not the most clear person about how the budget will affect convening. Yeah, so can I just clarify, this budget is for convening to be convening or for sports in general?
Okay, so for convening, you have a separate budget, but because there are times where the convening budget will not be enough, so you have to seek into the hall budget. And then because there's budget defense, right? So as a president, you will have the final call as to which side, who gets more money lah. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So yeah, thank you for the question. So I have 2 answers to this question. So the first one is, like budget defense, right, is when each CCA or whatever comes together and try to get budget from themselves, for those who don't know also. And I feel like during the budget defense, it is important for the convening also to be pushing out for how much they need, and as well as the rest of the other CC heads. So as president, I will determine which committee, which CCA needs more money. And it's not, I will not shortchange any one of the money just because we happen to be convening. So the second answer is, in the event that we are short on money, we as convening hall can take the initiative to even start a fundraiser to get more money to fund the convening. Because I'm sure most sports people or even non-sports people will be supportive of this, because it is also, Eusoff as convening, our reputation is also at stake. So we cannot exchange quality for... no, we cannot lose out on quality yeah, just because we have no money. Yeah, thank you.
Thanks.
Okay, I'm Hi, okay, I'm Callista, year 2 VPE. Given that next year is the 65th anniversary for Eusoff Hall, the hall management will probably want you to work with the VPE to plan for new events surrounding this theme, since it's a special occasion. So what are some ideas that you have, and how do you think you can handle this additional workload along with Eusoff being the convening com for next IHG as per mentioned previously?
Okay, thank you for the question. Give me a moment. Okay, thank you so much for the question. So yes, I am aware that next year is Eusoff's 65th anniversary, and it's something that is also a milestone for Eusoffians alike, or even the SCRC, and everyone is looking forward to next year, because one is also because there are less restrictions, so a lot of the things that they want to happen can happen, probably. Yeah, so the plans that I have is, there are many ideas, and Master also has some ideas on the kind of events that we want to take place during our 65th anniversary. and I will like to gather some opinions from Eusofians themselves as well, as to, like, the kind of things that they are, they, let's say, like the most about Eusoff, or they, want to do for Eusoff. And it can also, it does not have to come just from the president or JCRC themselves, because Eusofians themselves are part of Eusoff, and they celebrate Eusoff being 65 as well. So I'm very welcome and open and supportive to CCAs or even individuals who come up with ideas to really just celebrate the hall. Yeah. That's the first part of the question.
Okay, sorry, to elaborate on that, what exactly are your ideas? Because this is something that the president will have to start the ball rolling. So you have to start with a theme for the event before you can call people to enter. Okay,
so I think my vision as well is very apt for this Eusoff Reimagines, because 65 means we're celebrating the past 65 years, and the fact that it kind of ties in with the Eusoff Reimagines, because it's where we're bringing the past and the new. So some of the events that we can hold is, really bring back the old memories of Eusoff, the past victories, or even inviting alumni to come back and really mix around with the current Eusophians. This is something that we would probably do. Yeah, and it's really about celebrating Eusoff as a whole. So people from all walks of life that have been in Eusoff, it's very possible to reach out to them through the Alumni Association as well. So this is something that that will be something that I'll first look to do lah. Yeah.
The one about you handling the additional workload with ISG convening. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So I think I am someone that is able to handle a lot of workload. As people know, I mean, I actually commit myself to at least 10 things every year lah. So, and I am able to do everything well to my fullest ability. Just because I have something more to do, I will not shortchange anything else. It's something that I strive to do, and I will always see things to the end lah. So, it doesn't matter whether Eusoff is convening next year or it being our 65th anniversary. To the best of my abilities, I will still fully support both sides as much as possible. Yeah. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Hello, I am Avina, the year 3 SAD. As you may or may not know, I think the hall spirits have been relatively down, especially during this COVID period. And I believe that we, as year 4s, as you are also, will be the only batch that have actually experienced COVID-free events. How will you help us lift us out of this and recover from the slump that we faced, ensuring not just a good block culture, but hall-wide culture? Thank you.
Okay, thank you for the question. Can I just clarify on the last part? You're saying we should lift ourselves. Something about block culture and hall culture?
Because of during this period especially, the hall-wide culture has been a bit affected, and there have not been that many events for us to have as compared to previous years. So within the block is one thing regarding the culture, but hall-wide, how are we gonna ensure that we can recover from this, especially because there is lack of that culture among the existing seniors, maybe.
Okay, thank you for the question. So I don't really believe that the hall spirit is very down lah. Yeah, I might have to disagree on that part, because like even through IHG this year and even through DP, you can see like every Eusophian has been very supportive of each other, watching each other's live streams and attempting to go down to watch their games as well. It's something that is definitely quite different from last year as well, because last year there wasn't so much of this and it was very new to everybody. But this year, everybody coming into this better season, I would say, is something that everybody is very happy about lah. Even though it's not the full experience, but I think that we still display a lot of hall spirit and Eusoff spirit. Yeah, but definitely the COVID has brought a lot of people in experiencing the true Eusoff experience and the Eusophian highs that the past people have been able to experience lah. And for fostering a culture, the culture is not really defined by a singular individual, and it's a collective thing. So in the next year, I believe that along with the easing measures, I believe that all these events that are coming back, all these traditions that are coming back, will really give everybody, including the current Eusophians who are gonna stay next year, a new experience and an even greater experience. As for the soon-to-be year 4 batches, there aren't that many left of us. And I feel like as the only ones who have experienced pre-COVID times, it's very important, and I think it's a responsibility as well for us to contribute back to the hall by, even initiating or spearheading some of the things that has happened in pre-COVID lah. And it's something that I will highly encourage the seniors to do lah. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for your questions. Can we have one last question from the JCRC side?
Thanks, bro. Okay, hi. I'm Jovi. I'm year 3. So my question is, why should the residents trust you to make the most fair and sound decision just because you're the president? And do you have any plans for the residents to hold you accountable for your decisions?
Okay, thank you for the question. As someone who has been involved in almost every aspect of hall, be it sports, culture, I'm not sure if Eusoff works as a committee, but I would say it's a committee, yeah. But like, I would say that these experiences that I have will allow me to make a very, very non-biased decision, because I know the needs of each aspect of this, each committee culture of sports. And because I know their needs and their concerns, and I have experience in all of this, I am better equipped to be able to make a decision that is best in the interest of everybody. So I'm confident that I'll be able to make fair and sound decisions. And as for plans to hold me accountable, like I mentioned in my speech, I wanted to create an open channel for Eusophians to give feedback, because I think that yes, some people may directly message like JCRC members, but these are most of the time coming from their old friends. So like, as for people who don't really know these JCRC members, they might not be able, they might be maybe afraid to speak out or something like that, or like to like just suddenly like message them directly or talk to them directly. So I feel like having a permanent channel that people can submit their feedback is something that is very important. And let's say they have something to say, like maybe I made a wrong decision, or they have opinions about our decisions. So this is a very good way to hold us accountable as well. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, thank you JCRC for your questions. We'll now move on to the questions on the multimeter. So the first question will be on the screen. What are some of the issues that you have seen this year, and how will you improve it in your JCRC if you don't get elected?
Okay, yeah, thank you for the question. So, I take this. Okay, yeah, so I think the JCRC this year did a very good job lah. Honestly, as we even with the changing times and the changing restrictions, I think they did a fairly good job in allowing everybody to have an enjoyable year, and as much as possible in their ability, they tried to help Eusophians lah to the best of their abilities. So I wouldn't say that there is any major issue this year. But I guess if I would say one, that would probably be that there is not much how to say like interactions between like, okay, let's for at the start, sports have their fun sesh, and then culture side have like the cultural exposure week. So I feel like there could be a possibility for there to be like an inter sports and culture exchange as well, because like after a certain point in time, everybody is just in culture, everybody is just in sports. I feel like, you know, even after IHG period, I think it's very possible for there to be a like another sort of exposure week lah in SEM 2 after all the major performances are over, after all the major activities are over. Yeah. Thank you.
So for the sorry, for the second question, so what do you think you and your JCRC can do better this year than the previous JCRC?
Okay, thank you for the question. As for now, the rest of the JCRC has yet to be elected, so I can't really say, I can't speak on their behalf for now, but like I said just now, I think this year's JCRC did a very good job, and I don't think it can be compared as well, because the following year will be very different. The things we can do next year will be very different from the things that we can do this year. The issues that happen next year are very different from the issues that happen this year. So I would just say that to the best of our abilities, we will do our best. Yeah, thank you.
All right, thank you. Next question. Right, so the next question is, some of the residents who came in during SEM 2 did not manage to get into any CCAs despite applying for all. So how do you plan to improve recruitment and points allocation transparency?
Okay, so for this question, right, I believe that the points, or at least the amount of points that you can be given, is very transparent already, because at the beginning of the year, even in the CCA booklet, we have like given a booklet that shows you the points that you can get from each CCA. And for SEM 2 residents this year, I believe that the current president, Jovi, has already thought of that, and he made sure that the CCAs and have like a capacity to take in people that come into SEM 2, so they have the opportunity to stay on and join as well. And I believe that this is very good. But it is not something that can be so easily said like, okay, I suddenly want to let everybody who join in SEM 2 like get into one CCA, because the CCAs have their maximum capacity as well, and point allocation is something that so the point system itself is already something that is in place, and it is, I feel like it's a pretty fair system lah. And if they didn't manage to get into CCAs despite applying for all, then I would probably ask why as well to myself if I didn't get into any. One possibility is because maybe there are more outstanding applicants, or the other is there's just no more capacity for them lah. So the number of CCAs they can get into is not a lot also in SEM 2, because in SEM 2 there are only space in committees and maybe some cultural groups, but sports wise not really. So yeah, I would say that I think some blockades also have helped residents to try to find CCAs lah. So maybe this person didn't talk to their blockade about it. Maybe, yeah. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Celine, for answering all the questions. We have a 5 minutes break before continuing answering the questions again. We'll continue at 9:41. Thank you. So for the next question, hi Celine, Joel from D Block. You have had a multitude of experience in Eusoff for the past 3 years. What was the most memorable one so far? And how would that help in your leadership and vision?
Okay, thank you, Joel, for the question. I would say the most memorable one that will help in my leadership and vision is from me being captain in year 2 of badminton. Yeah. So during my time as captain, it was a rather challenging time for me as well, because on top of being captain, right, I had like 10,000 other CCAs also, and being captain of badminton also means that you have to be the coach, you have to plan training, you have to plan such that everybody is accounted for and everybody has an enjoyable time. And that is something that I feel that is something that I learned from a lot. Planning training for those who are new and those who are experienced was very difficult, given that during that time there was a lot of restrictions and there was only a limited number of courts that we could get and the unlimited number of people that we could have during training. And thus it brings up the point where I have to decide, how much to focus on which side, how much attention to give to each side, and really plan a tailored program for both as well, which is that they'll benefit both parties lah. I cannot just give something that is like mediocre, something that will just not really benefit them that much. And this experience helped me a lot in that even the seniors before me, like a lot of times I would ask them, or even the players themselves, I will ask them for feedback lah, like, oh, how was training for you? Was it good? Was it boring? Was it helpful at all? And I'm someone that values feedback a lot, and I think that as I work with the next JCRC and heads and all these people, I feel that feedback is something that I will want to receive and something that I will value a lot. And this will definitely help me to understand the minds of the Eusophians as well, the minds of everybody and their thoughts. And it is something that will enable me to make better decisions for the benefit of everybody. Yeah, so this will also tie in with the vision as well lah. Yeah, thank you.
Next question. Do you think you are qualified to be president, considering that you do not have any experience as a JCRC member?
Okay, thank you for the question. So I'm not sure if you're very aware, but a lot of times JCRC, okay lah, let's not talk about president yet, but JCRC members themselves also do not have experience when they come into position as a JCRC. And as a president, not all presidents in the past also have been JCRC before they have been presidents. And I acknowledge that, yes, I have not been JCRC, so I may not know how the hall works and everything as well as them. But I'm someone that will make sure that, all these kind of details, all this information that I need, right, is something that I will really source for, and I will really fully understand everything before making any decision, before coming into, And even if I was not a JCRC member, I had a number of experiences being leader of CCAs and whatnot. So last year I was vice president of EC Club, Electrical and Computer Engineering Club. Yes. And like I mentioned just now, I was also vice director of community engagement in Engine Club. And other things lah. So I feel that all these experiences that I've accumulated is something that will really greatly help me in being a president. Maybe I may not be qualified in your eyes, but I'm open to finding out why as well. Yeah, thank you.
All right, we have one last question from JCRC.
Hi, okay, so given that you don't really have any experience in committee planning, specifically in Eusoff, it might be hard for you to see the bigger picture if you don't know about the various events and its details. So how do you plan to overcome this?
Thank you for the question. I think even before this, before I even run for president, like I already have in mind that it is essential for me to talk to everybody. Okay, I mean not everybody, but like the current JCRC, the CCA heads, committee heads, because I'm not in that committee. I was not part of their exco or whatever, so I definitely will not be able to understand everything or even know what they're doing. So as the president, I think it's very important to know about every aspect of hall and how things work in their various committees and functions. So this is something that I already thought of once I am elected, because that will allow me to understand and better be able to make decisions after knowing about all these from the various people. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Celine. We will now close the Q&A segment. And with that, we have come to the end of this year's presidential rally. The voting portal will be open tonight at 11 p.m. and it will close tomorrow at 2359. Do remember to cast your votes. Thank you, and thank you for your time.